Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. Time for the next Power Rangers Beast Morphers episode international spoiler review. This is episode 11. This is the conclusion of the two-part Chaku arc. And honestly, I think this arc overall was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I enjoyed both episodes. I don't think they were perfect, but like I said, more enjoyable than I initially thought. There wasn't as many cool little Easter eggs or hints at anything as the previous two episodes, but there was one cool little Easter egg shout out, which I'll get to here in a minute. But basically, we find out Chaku's actually been there about a week fighting Ryjack on and off, which is kind of a cool thought. I like the idea that he's been staying here a while and working with the Rangers, and he's cleaning up a fire from a recent morph-x hijacking. And you find out that, basically he's still working with Evox too. Like, it's kind of a, you scratch your back, I'll scratch my back type of thing. Wait, who's scratching whose back? Stealing morph-x while he's wanting to work towards and get help stealing from the PR vault. And of course, Evox has designs on the PR vault now too that he knows what it is. But they're trying to stop him still, and in the mix of him cleaning up, they're like, hey, not Gavan, you've done such a great job with helping us, why not help us and join the team? And funnily enough, Steel says, yeah, more silver on the team is always a good thing, or something to that extent. And I just couldn't help but think of how Toei just keeps doing silver and gold rangers, and that was just kind of meta for a second. But he basically agrees to join Grid Battle Force after the mission against Ryjack is complete, and so they get a quarters set up for him at Grid Battle Force so that he has somewhere to stay, and he has like this killer plant that at one point attempts to save the show, but it doesn't work out, and he's kind of getting settled in, and Nate sees that he's actually talking to his daughter, and he has a daughter that he can't go home to yet, and for some reason he doesn't want to take his helmet off because he doesn't know if the air is breathable. After that, Nate discusses that with the Rangers, saying like, hey, did you know that Chaku has a daughter? Why would he agree to stay here with us at Grid Battle Force if he has a daughter to go back to? And Devin says like, wait, I thought he was a robot. I was like, same bruh, same. I thought he was a robot. I wasn't sure. But he's a real person. Well, I mean, he is a real person. He's like half robot. Spoiler alert. We'll see in a minute. And Ryjax attacks. The Rangers fight him for a little bit, and Chaku fight him for a little bit, but then he escapes using his little transporter tech, and they're like, we'll get him eventually. You know how it is. And then when they get back to the base, Nate's kind of talking to him about like, hey, why would you agree to stay with us if you have a daughter? Just like they talked about earlier. And he says, well, I'm afraid to go back because on duty I ended up getting these augmentations that I'm basically Cyborg Terminator now. And he takes his helmet off and he looks like a cyborg or a Terminator. And so he's afraid that, it seems more like he's afraid that he's not fully human. I'm like, dude, relax. It's not like you're a host like Picard or Coulson or a Humagear or something. Like, you're still human. I think it would have made more sense, unless I just missed the line where he said it, if he was afraid of his daughter being scared because he looks kind of freaky. But bottom line is, he doesn't want to come back because of what happened to his face, and he's kind of just deciding to commit to his duty as like a galaxy officer. And they leave it at that. There's a little bit of stuff with Evox and Ryjax, and Evox recharging, and how Evox is using Ryjax so he can hopefully eventually get to the PR vault. And, Blaze and Roxy are kind of making snide remarks at Ryjax because they're getting sidelined. That's why I wore the Team Roxy shirt for this one. I still feel like Blaze and Roxy have really gotten sidelined both versions in this second half, or the second season. Honestly, the excitement from all of the Power Rangers vault and stuff made me realize that Blaze and Rex regular still haven't appeared. But then Ryjax is attacking again, and this time is where the small little Power Rangers Easter egg comes in. He pulls out this little device where he says, I picked this up from the ruins of Andrasia. And if you don't remember, Andrasia was the homeworld of Orion, Super Mega Force Silver, and it makes sense it would be in ruins because it was destroyed by the Armada. So that was a nice little lore mention. Nothing that was like, oh my god, it was a team-up crossover. It was cool. Like, they could have easily said like, oh, I got this on Poopy-Doo 7, but I like that they use an existing planet. It kind of reminds me of stuff like in Ninja Storm when they mentioned like the boys on Triforia are like 3 times as cute or something like that. It was just, I like little references like that. It just kind of makes it feel like you're in the PR universe. But then he grows big because of this Andrasia thing, and they use the Beast X Ultra Zord, but it gets done blasted, so Chaku has to call in Bloop and Terra, and he helps them destroy the robot. And then at the end, they say, like, look, you can stay with us if you want, but we might be able to help you. And they actually show him the machine that made them Rangers and talk about how the machine combines the Rangers' DNA with animal DNA, and it combined human DNA with robot to make Steel, so we could use this to fix you by making your DNA completely human, which is a really cool touch. Like, I like that it was something that was based on their existing lore and not just like, oh hey, we whipped up a devicey, I got this machine that goes ding. I like that it was actually an existing device based on what they had, because it very easily could have been, a hobbled together Billy invention just for this purpose. But so that was cool, and they change him back to fully human. He thanks them, and he asks if there's anything he can do for them, and Steel says, yeah, sure, can I have that Blue Pantera dragon? That looks really cool. Can I have that? I thought that was pretty funny. That was a funny little bit. And then you get like a Ben and Betty bit. I was thankful though, the episode ended on a nice moment, because you have the Ben and Betty bit at the end, after you have Chaku thanking them. I'm like, okay, of course now, we can't end on this nice moment. Ben and Betty are gonna come honk their horns in our face, and sure thing, they do. But then, after that Ben and Betty moment, there was a nice moment where Chaku called in with his daughter, thanking the Rangers again, and that's where the episode ended. I was really happy with that, because that's been my problem in general, but it's really been noticeable in these last few episodes and the episodes before the hiatus. Like, there's never like a nice moment that's not ruined by them trampling all over it. So I was almost nervous that after the Skype call that Ben and Betty were gonna like come in and trip over the computer or something. So I was very happy that they let us have that nice moment at the end. But I overall thought this was a very solid arc. Not the best, but trying to take away my bias of not liking Gavan and Go Busters, this was kind of a cool thing, and they actually made Chaku like a real character. He wasn't just there as set dressing, like they gave him an actual little arc. There was a nice moment where he talked to Nate and he was like trying to convince him to go back to his daughter because he knows what it's like to have military parents that are off. And that was a nice beat. I appreciated they made Chaku feel like an actual character. His general sort of lore around him felt like it was expanding the PR universe. Honestly, not that dissimilar from things like when we had Masked Rider in MMPR Season 3, or even the Beetleborg suits as the Machine Empire. And I kind of just, I wish I didn't know about the Sentai counterpart, so I get that like biased away from it. But if I take that out and try to take as much bias away, it was actually kind of a cool addition to the lore. Also, it's worth noting that, just real quick, that the monster was still using putties and Viveks in this episode, which was kind of a cool touch. And it doesn't seem like, because Ryjack's been destroyed now, if he's going to be connected to the Dino team-up, but I think it will be cool later if he is. Like maybe he was hired by somebody like Neo Goldar or something. We'll have to see. I hope there's a little connection, because I felt like in a small way this was setting up for it. So yeah, overall, solid two-parter that I didn't expect to like as much as I did. What did you guys think? Did you like the Chaku arc? Did you not? Let me know in the comments. I will see you guys again tomorrow for the next Beef Morphers review. Well, until next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.